Social Security might be changing, and not in a good way. You see, millions of Americans could lose up to 21% of their benefits if nothing is done. But here's the twist. The person leading the Social Security Administration just said the quiet part out loud, that retirement might be moved to 70. So it's officially on the table. That's what's surprising. So what exactly is happening, and how bad could it get? And this is worth talking about. All right, so I want to take a minute to share some thoughts in reference to just some references and some quotes that I came across about Social Security and the fact that as a result of it being depleted almost in less than a decade, there's all types of pivots and changes that are going to take place. And it's definitely something worth hearing about because there's a lot of people within that soon-to-be retirement age that will be counting upon Social Security and more than likely won't be there. So they're going to try to move the age and things like that, further kicking the can down the road. So in this video here, I want to share some thoughts that's worth taking into consideration, given the fact that everything is going through a change now. And as always, if you guys enjoy these little quick takes, definitely drop a thumbs up, drop a comment down below, let me know your thoughts. And more importantly, take this and share this so more people can find out what's really going on here. But first, here's what sparked all this. So you got Frank Bisignano, the current Social Security Commissioner, who went on Fox News this week and made one thing very clear. Everything's being considered, and that's including raising the retirement age. And if that sounds familiar, it should. We've seen this move before. So back in the 1980s, Congress raised the full retirement age from 65 to eventually 67, fairly quietly and slowly, but it was a benefit cut in disguise. So now they might do it again. So here are three biggest things you need to know right now and what to look forward to. One, the Social Security clock is ticking fast. So according to the latest reports, the Social Security Trust Fund will be insolvent by 2034. So that's not a talking point, that's actual math. And at that point, Social Security will only be able to pay about 79% of what's promised in the form of benefits. So unless Congress steps in now, and that would be an across the aisle situation, don't expect no change. So whether or not you're rich or poor, newly retired or deep in your benefits, it doesn't matter. If you rely on Social Security, you'll see an automatic drop of about 21%. So this isn't a theoretical debate anymore. It's a funding cliff, and it's just 8 years away. The second point, raising the retirement age sounds harmless. It's not every time you hear the phrase modest adjustment, you have to ask yourself, modest to who? So if the full retirement age moves from 76 to 70, like some Republicans are proposing, that's effectively a 21% cut in lifetime benefits. And the question is why? Because every year the retirement age rises, your monthly check shrinks unless you delay filing a claim. But not everyone can wait. See, people in physical jobs, care workers, folks with chronic illnesses, they don't have the extra years to burn. And so about 5 million or so seniors already living in poverty, this change hits the most vulnerable, the hardest. And of course, you got Senator Rand Paul, who even floated a plan to raise the retirement age by 3 months every year until it hits 70. So that didn't pass, unfortunately, but ideas out there and it's gaining traction. And then the third thing is alternatives do exist, but they're politically toxic. And so Bisignano mentioned other options on the table, such as raising the income tax on payrolls, for example. And so right now, only the first 176 of income is taxed with Social Security. So if you earn more, that extra income isn't taxed at all. So lifting or eliminating that cap could extend solvency without touching retirement age. But wealthy donors don't like that idea, and politicians don't want to touch it. So instead, the conversation shifts towards reforming benefits ultimately, which eventually means cutting them. So the Social Security trustees said that Congress could solve the whole problem by raising the payroll taxes from 12.4% to about 16.5%. And so share that between the employers and the workers is possibly doable, but again, political poison. So what does all this mean at the end of the day for you and I is what it boils down to. So right now, it means staying informed because this won't be fixed in some future Congress session. It's happening right now and it's in slow motion. So every time a new commissioner or a lawmaker floats the idea of adjusting for a test, it's a trial balloon. They're actually watching to see how the public responds and if there's any pushback. And so recently, Democrats like Representative John Larson, who's already ringing the alarm bell, he called the idea of raising the age a 7% cut per year and warning that millions of more seniors could fall into poverty. So he's not wrong, of course. But if the public shrugs this off, expect those trial balloons to become a real probability real soon. And so the bottom line is, raising the retirement age is just a cut by another name. And if you're under 60, you could be looking at a very different set of rules than what your parents had to face. And so at this point, the system cannot be saved. And so there aren't many viable options for most people to actually consider. But someone's going to have to pay more, either now or through higher taxes or later through benefit cuts. So the question to leave you with is who and when. And that's why I always encourage people to think outside the box. Don't rely upon a system that's crumbling from within to be the solution to the problems that have already been presented. No one's coming in Congress to save the day because the problems are too big. And that's why you are responsible for your own financial futures. And of course, the more you act today to address those future problems that you're going to have, the greater the chance of you being able to sustain yourself in your latter years. And of course, the best way to do that is to come up with some type of plan that works for you as of yesterday, so that moving forward, you can actually put yourself in position to not be dependent upon the government in your latter years. And of course, the best way to do it is to think outside the box. And of course, self-education has been one of them. Diversification to things that you are familiar with and aware of. And most importantly, investing into yourself, not relying upon some type of age to stop working rather than start doing what you enjoy doing now in hopes of by the time you get older, it'll be something thriving that you can actually still reap the fruit from of what you've been able to build up throughout the years. And of course, that means looking at retirement from a whole different perspective and realizing that ultimately your work here on this earth is not done until you're actually gone, or that should be the mindset. But once again, just taking a minute to share some thoughts with some updates in reference to the whole Social Security thing. Curious to see what you guys think. And as always, if you find value, hit that thumbs up, drop a comment. I'll catch you guys later.